What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. Whole bunch of stuff to talk about today, including some different outlets doubling down on some of the rumors we talked about yesterday and some updates. We'll get through that pretty quickly in the beginning here. We also had a quick look at Bayonetta 2 from Digital Foundry that was a little eye-opening, I think. It makes more sense as to what they were going with this collection leading up to the third one. We're going to talk about that. We found out Kirby's frame rate. Some people weren't happy about that. Less people split. Talk about that too, so let's get started. All right, some quick updates from yesterday. Puyo Puyo Tetris is coming to Steam after we talked about those Steam achievements. Like an hour or two later after Newswave went up, Sega did announce that it is coming to Steam, and this is happening February 27th. So you, if you're a PC gamer, will be able to enjoy one of, I think, the better Tetris Puyo Puyo style games that's come out in a while. It's a very fun puzzle game, very fun multiplayer game to play against other people. Gives me those feelings from Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine where you try to mess up your opponents with different blocks, come down based on the combos that you make. Story mode was, it was them throwing a story mode together, but it's a lot of fun if you get some people together, and of course, online multiplayer makes that possible at any time. Certainly worth the pickup. And we had Eurogamer chiming in on Black Ops 4. We talked about that yesterday. They didn't really have much to say about the Switch version, which I think is the part of the entire story that's the most up in the air. Black Ops makes a ton of sense. I've told you guys it's easy. It's a sequel that they can take that has at least some merit with gamers. They understand Black Ops, the branding. They know they probably want to buy it because there are some that are fans of it. So Eurogamer said from multiple sources, they have confirmed that Black Ops 4 appears to be on the way later on this year. They even talk a bit about Marcus Seller's quote, but they didn't really have much to say about the Switch version. That seems to be the thing that's very heavily rumored still, this Switch version. Makes a lot of sense from the outside, but we'll see what's going on over there in Activision land, I guess. But from there, Eurogamer also, at this point, doubled down on the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy rumors that are going around about a PC and Switch version after the Sony exclusivity runs up. They even made mention that in that publication where we heard from the merchandising manager that, hey, it's happening and a new Crash game coming in 2019, they appeared to have taken that out, or retconned that, I guess, completely erased it from the final cut. So did they speak too soon? Did they misspeak? It's hard to say that they misspoke there when they were pretty clear as to what they said. So more than likely they said something they shouldn't have. We'll just have to wait for this exclusivity deal. If there is a deal in place, they definitely weren't supposed to say that because they could actually affect sales from the PS4 version if you think it's coming out on something like the Switch or the PC. Maybe you hold off. So it makes a lot of sense why they wouldn't be able to say that. So I guess, yeah, just look for Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, I guess, later on this year when the exclusivity runs out. And then more than likely, I pretty much understand that it's probably going to be Black Ops 4. It's more of the Switch version that we're all wondering about now. All right, with those updates out of the way, Digital Foundry did show up with a Bayonetta 2 analysis. They got their hands on the Switch version. Seemed like the first couple levels they had a chance to check out, but they had some very revealing details here, some very revealing analysis. Mostly being, it seems to be they just essentially straight up ported the Wii U version. Is that good or bad for you? Well, it depends. If you didn't get a chance to play Bayonetta 2 because you didn't have a Wii U, well, there you go. You'll be happy to know that this is a better version in the sense of frame rate. Otherwise, it seems to be almost exactly the same. Now, they did say that some effects are better, but it's very, very minor. But what you're going to see here, if you take a look at their video, which is down in the description, I recommend you go check it out if you're interested in the Bayonetta collection, is that Bayonetta 2, frame rate wise, on the Wii U was not very good. There were heavy dips at times, especially during big action sequences. However, if you go to the Switch version, a lot of that seems to be resolved, probably because the Switch is more powerful than the Wii U, especially in docked mode, but it is 720p in docked and handheld mode. There's no difference. So that tells me it absolutely is just it's just straight port. Now in portable mode, they did mention that there are some dips that were similar to the Wii U version, but it's still a better experience. So if you weren't super happy with how it performed on the Wii U, you should get a better experience now on the Switch with Bayonetta 2 because, of course, those are the only two ways really to play it. I know some people do emulate it, but realistically, if you're looking to play it, say with first-party hardware and everything, this is what you have. And of course, it is going to be a portable experience that is still better than the base Wii U version, which is pretty exciting, I think. They did also mention there's no anti-aliasing they can see, which is going to leave a lot of the edges kind of jagged, and it might look a little bad to you at times. But really, this is a game about the frame rate and how fast it can move. So I at least understand why it's just a straight port 720p. Keep keep that frame rate as close to 60 as you can at all times. I guess I would have liked to have seen a better resolution at something like 900p, but really 720p, 900p, it's like that or 10 frames. Okay, yeah, I'll take the 720p, and the 60 frames is the best they can give it. While we're on the topic of frame rate, we're just going to move right into Kirby. Now, Kirby, of course, is coming to the Switch in March, and it looks kind of fun. Looks like a Kirby game, right? It's going to have full multiplayer aspects to it, which is great. It's going to have a bunch of people running around with you. It all looks fun. Now, Game Explain did get a chance to check it out. They have raw footage, and they went back and took a look at it. Because initially, as you see in their video, again linked in the description down below, they talked about how they thought it was 60 frames per second. But they went back and looked at it, and it appears that the gameplay of Kirby, the 2D side-scrolling Kirby, is 30 frames, whereas the menu, when you pause it, is 60. Now, is that frustrating to some people? Yes. There is a split community on this right now. There are people who are so used to things like, you got Mario Odyssey at 60 frames per second. They want that experience, especially when you look at Kirby. It's a good-looking game, I think, from an artistic standpoint, but it's certainly not pushing any boundaries from like an overall graphical standpoint, right? We don't know anything about the resolution yet that I can see, so we're gonna have to wait to see that as well, because maybe it's just 1080p 30 frames. That's what they decided to go with. Sure, it's not like, it doesn't appear to be a very, it's not a very specific platform to the point where you need to be on point with your jumps and everything. It looks like it's gonna be more of a casual, fun experience. It's gonna be Kirby. I'm sure it'll be fun, but maybe you don't need that 60 frames. 60 is better than 30 though, absolutely. But I mean, I couldn't have it with Crash Bandicoot. Same when I was on the PlayStation. I understood to a degree. So I look at this Kirby game, 60 would have been better, but how much will I need 30 in a platform that is, you don't need a platform you're not be super accurate with? I'll just have to see when I play it. Just know it appears to be 30 frames per second. Is that a deal breaker for you? Well, now you know. Next up, let's talk a little bit about Red Dead Redemption 2, in that there was this leak from Trusted Reviews. This is an exclusive to them, and they seem extremely confident about this leak. So much so they're willing to pretty much go on record about it. And there is a very interesting mode that appears to be making its way to Red Dead Redemption 2. One that could heavily affect PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, at least on consoles. Not on PC, because Redemption 2 is not going to PC. But here's the thing, it appears to be having a Battle Royale mode for multiplayer, which is unexpected, I think. I did not expect any kind of, possibly 50, 100-man Battle Royale stage. I just did not see that coming. But Rockstar is very good about polishing these kind of things. So this could be a really cool idea for kind of a westernized, right, kind of setup. That'd be really fun. It's like an old west with a bunch of people running around on horses. Maybe they have the trains going and everything. This could be really neat. And of course, the one thing I have a problem with PUBG, not so much Fortnite, because Fortnite's a little better about it. PUBG's not polished at all, whereas Rockstar is pretty good about polishing their games before they go to market. So this could be really neat. Now, they also talked about a few other things that's going to come with it, including things like being able to play the full main campaign and multiplayer in first person, and essentially branching paths depending on what you do, who you interact with in the main story. That sounds pretty cool too. Sounds like the game itself might actually be, I guess, a little more intricate, a little larger when it comes to this than I originally thought. I mean, I figured it would be a pretty linear story, and then of course you have side missions like usual. But if things change and you actually play through the game multiple times and get different events, different endings, that could be pretty fun. I would actually like to see that. So this game is sounding bigger and bigger, and honestly better the more I hear about it. I heard, we knew about there being a multiplayer. We kind of thought, okay, it'll just be like Grand Theft Auto with a Western with horses and trains and everything, but maybe they are going the path of like 100 people in there fighting it out for either every man for themselves or two-man teams, or maybe teams up to 4. This is going to be cool. I'll keep an eye on this and see when we get some kind of reveal trailer for this, because, well, we need it, I guess, before the fall when it comes out. And in our last bit of news, I have great news for RPG fans everywhere. If you were a fan of Pillars of Eternity on the PC, this was a game that was kickstarted and created by developers from Obsidian. You're going to be pretty happy to know that the second one, the one that's coming out on PC currently, is also going to go to consoles. And I say consoles because it's going to all of them. It's going to the Xbox One, the PS4, and the Nintendo Switch. So Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire is coming to the PC. It's planned for April 3rd, but now if you don't have a PC, you can enjoy it on your PlayStation 4, your Xbox One, or the Nintendo Switch, coming out holiday season. So somewhere in the holidays, could be October, could be November, could be December. Now, Obsidian is going to do the primary development on the PC, and the game's being ported to consoles by developer Red Cerberus, which is interesting because I don't know much that they have done other than this. But still, it's pretty cool to see this because Pillars of Eternity, the first one, got good marks overall. I think got like an 8.5 from IGN. It's mostly positive all over Steam. And really, this is a game that reminded people of Baldur's Gate. You remember, if you're a little older, you remember Baldur's Gate. You can even say something like Diablo to a degree, just with a lot more story. The original one, seriously, you were reading text like crazy. So if you're really into a game that builds a very deep lore, right, and you're really into it, that might be a game for you. Still has the combat where you kind of pause time and move people around strategically and kind of put your team together how you want. RPG elements everywhere. This is a game that I think is going to work well on the Switch. The one thing I was curious about when I saw this is you use a mouse a lot on the PC version, especially when you're commanding your troops around, basically, the people in your party. I'll be curious if, in handheld mode, for example, they let you use the touchscreen. That might be a little easier than a cursor being moved with the joystick, especially if you have it right in front of you. I do understand that the other systems will be using just an analog stick to move a cursor around unless mouse support comes before then. So I'll be curious to see if, I guess, Red Cerberus decides to do a little extra with the Switch version, even HD Rumble, IR pointer maybe. It could be very interesting to see, but it's great to see that people who don't have a PC to play this on can play it on their console of choice. They're all included, so it's going to be really neat to see. That's holiday 2018. No actual release date, just know it's probably coming sometime between October and December. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for Newswave today. If you enjoyed this video, guys, hit the like button. Really helps out. If not, dislike. Leave a bunch of comments down below about all the stuff we talked about, whether it is Bayonetta 2 being more of a straight port from the Wii U version. Maybe you didn't have a Wii U, so you're really excited about this collection. Remember, it's coming with the first one and the second one, so it's 2 games, 60 bucks, 2 really good games, I think. I remember I spent 60 bucks on the second one by itself, so looking at this more and more now, I understand why some people will see this as a great value because there's not a lot of ways to play the second one unless you own a Wii U or I guess a super powerful computer and you want to emulate it. But in this case, first party hardware, this is what you have. So let me know what you think about it just being basically 720p across the board, handheld and docked. Do you think they're leaving, I guess, a little bit of power on the table there and not pushing for something higher in terms of resolution on docked mode? Or are you more comfortable with them leaving it where it is and just taking advantage of a more powerful system for the frame rate? Because it seems pretty good overall frame rate wise, docked, and then we'll have to see what the original one, the first Bayonetta, how that plays on the Switch. I expect it to play reasonably well compared to the Wii U version. Also, let me know what you think about things like the Kirby on the Switch being 30 frames, Red Dead getting a full, apparently a Battle Royale mode, and everything else, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.